Hello, welcome to the All Signs Collective Energy reading. We're gonna go through this a little bit. I was not here yesterday, had an appointment, and there are some shifts and changes that are taking place in my life. So we will see how the scheduling of these things go, how often I do them. And if you are just joining, please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell for whenever I do go live. And we'll go ahead and get started. Okay. Okay. Bottom of the deck. Hi, Holly. How are you, love? Knight of Swords. This is the messenger, right? Like pages are considered messengers, knights are considered to be demonstrative, but this is like some kind of message with some kind of an action that is attached to it. I don't even know what's going on with my restream right now. I'm getting messages on my screen. So Knight of Swords, clarity, some kind of action and or messages that come through that bring you some sort of clarity, clear, concise actions towards a direction or trajectory. That awesome. I'm glad you're doing well, Holly. That are meant to enhance your life in some way. That being said, okay. Other bottom of the deck with the Game of Life cards, we have this relationship will last a long time and stay authentic. This more so is giving me with yourself, stay authentic with yourself. This relationship with yourself is going to last a long time. It's like reconnecting with the self. We have, hey, how are you doing, Mike? Apologies and forgiveness. Now, this again is more so self-focused to me, in my opinion. Hi, Susan. I can't see your comments, love, but I see Holly's saying hi to you. So thank you for being with us. Apologies and forgiveness. This is letting go of, we can be so hard on ourselves, right? We can be so judgmental of ourselves. Holding yourself accountable is one thing, but then beating yourself up and berating yourself over things that you did or didn't do in the past, decisions, words, relationships that you chose to be in, etc. This is letting go of all of that because you're supposed to be with you for, the rest of this life and others. You cannot escape yourself. So, you're going to have to learn how to live with yourself, right? And how to love yourself, not only live with and tolerate yourself, but love yourself, honor your evolution. You are enough. Just because you feel like you've made mistakes in your past or you didn't choose or act a certain way, that now with hindsight being 2020, you can see clearly, but at the time you may not have hello, bonjour. We've got a Frenchie. Hello, hello. Thank you for joining us. Stick around, see what resonates. If it doesn't resonate, then leave it behind. Liking this lifetime slot and able to attend more of it. Awesome. Awesome, Mike. I do have some shifts and changes, new opportunities coming in for me, so I'm not quite sure how frequently I'll be doing these live. I'm not quite sure on the scheduling yet. Messed up that even on the other account, Susan said she can't see. Huh. That is so strange. I don't know exactly, but it's she's not the only one. Susan, you're not the only one. There's about 4 or 5 others that have had the same issue, but using a different account allowed them to, be seen in the comments and things. It's so strange. So honor your evolution, okay? Looking back on situations where now with hindsight, you can see clearly a decision that you maybe should have made, or, this is self-judgment also. We're glad to have you back with us, Mike. It's, sorry, trying to get back on track here. had you had the wisdom that you have now, then yes, you may have made different decisions. However, that's what this life experience is all about. Is I'm seeing your comments, love. It's just I get distracted whenever I'm in the channel and having to switch back into my logic brain. So I'm gonna try to get through this. You wouldn't have the wisdom that you have now to be able to look back on certain situations or decisions that you made and say, I would have chosen something better. I should have done this. I should have done that. You didn't have the experience then that you have now. So looking back on yourself and judging yourself and berating yourself, um, it really isn't conducive to your new growth, your future growth, what you're moving towards, because we're constantly learning, we're constantly evolving. So you are enough. You were enough then, but you gained that experience by making a decision that now you deem as incorrect, but you gained that wisdom to be able to know the difference, right? So honor yourself for having gone through that. Love and appreciate that past version of you for doing the best that they could with the set of circumstances and the wisdom and the tools that they had at their disposal at that time, okay? Suppressed emotions need a healthy outlet. Feel your emotions, okay? Emotions are energy in motion. They're going to continue to be in motion whether you suppress them or whether you allow them to flow through you, okay? Making sure my mic is on. Um, so when you don't allow them to flow through you, to release, to be expressed, they're still in motion. They're just stagnant in a little, whirlpool within your energetic, hi Anna, within your energetic body. So this causes all kinds of disruptions within even your physical body. And we did talk about this the other day when we were talking about needing to purge emotions, all of the shadow work and the soul work and the mental and emotional stuff that you've done. If you're not also expressing it and pushing it out of your body with some type of action that is aligned with the way that your physical body operates, then they're going to continue to be stagnated, still in motion, but within your vessel or within your energetic body, um, which causes chaos, right? Causes chaos. Um, so learning how to work with that, how to release and express emotion, even emotion from, back whenever you were a child, if you've processed a lot of inner child trauma. um, yes, the party can start now. Anna's here. So you need to express these emotions, especially the ones that you've been holding on to for years and years and years, okay? They need that outlet. Otherwise, they're going to continue to ruminate within your body, within your energetic field, and they're going to continue to attract negativity in certain situations that bring your attention to the fact that you still have this energy stuck in your energetic field, okay? So make sure that you're expressing those things. Make sure that you're getting those things out. You can say, I'm going to go for a walk in the park to ground, to move this XYZ emotion out of my energetic body or my physical body. And setting those intentions is what brings those emotions up. And you use those for fuel, for your walk or for your whatever it is that you're doing. And it helps to express those, to get those out. um, you deserve better. You really do. You know, you're not meant to come here and suffer or to create this perpetual suffering within your own mind, within your own emotional body by holding on to, people hold on to grudges and things like that. That's what these are. These grudges are energy that has been trapped, emotions that have been trapped. And it does not take away from the experience that you had, the trauma that you had. It doesn't invalidate that. It doesn't make it okay. It doesn't do any of that. But what it does, it allows you to release and get it out of your vessel, out of your energetic body, so that you're not attracting these frequencies, these experiences that perpetuate more of the suffering, more of the trauma. Whenever you break up with a toxic ex and you don't do any of that shadow work and you don't move any of these emotions out of your body, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to say 10 times out of 10, but most often you're going to choose another relationship with a completely different person, but they have that same resonance as the toxic partner or the toxic friend or family member. Okay. Toxicity comes in all forms, and family members can be the most toxic. Okay. Your insecurities are hindering you. When you're judging yourself because of traumas, because you were taught to judge yourself, because you were judged so much by others, your, parents or whoever, or had a hand in helping to raise you, or whatever the case is, um, you're you're adding to your own insecurities. Okay, you're only solidifying those false toxic judgments and perspectives that those people probably picked up from, their own training or childhood. So in order to release these judgments or these traumas, you have to stop judging and re-traumatizing yourself by saying, oh, I should have known better. I should have done that better. You didn't know at the time. You literally did not have that experience to gain this wisdom to where you can look back and say, I should have done something different. You had not the knowledge nor the wisdom to be able to make that call in that moment. So stop judging yourself and perpetuating this cycle of abuse that was not even started by you. Okay. Um, Choose joy instead. And that can be difficult for a lot of us, especially when we've only experienced trauma for most of our lives, right? It's really difficult to even feel joy. How do we choose it? So that can look like relief. That can look like choosing safety in any form. If that means that you've been invited to some kind of gathering or get together where there's a ton of people and you're sensitive to energy and it's chaotic and you really don't enjoy those things but feel socially obligated, or your job or whatever is making you feel obligated, choosing safety for yourself and saying, you know what, I can't make it, I'm not feeling well. That is not a lie. I'm not feeling well because I am catastrophizing this upcoming possible event that is going to make me feel bad. So it's not, you're not feeling well if you're thinking about going and it's literally making you feel sick or it's making you feel worried or anxious. Okay. Protect your peace at all times. That is choosing joy. If you can't distinguish joy because you lived such a life of trauma for so long that feeling joy doesn't, it feels foreign to you, or you don't know what that even means, that means choosing safety. Okay. Choosing security. Sleeping so much the past 3 nights. Good, good. I'm glad that your nervous system is recalibrating itself. Okay. Your body needs that. So, um, if you need extra sleep, don't feel guilty. And that goes for everyone, not just you, Anna. My nose, um, got a little tickle. So choose joy. Okay. Choose safety. Choose yourself over anything and everything else that doesn't feel like safety. Okay. Like joy, like just existing without stress or anxiety. Um, Two of Pentacles, stop juggling. But this is also talking about choices and decisions. There could be two different paths, and you're kind of trying to figure out which one is the best for me to choose at this time. And you may be reflecting on times where you chose something that, now with the wisdom and experience you have, you would have chose differently. Um, Rely more so on your intuition. Yes, use your logic because that is part of the tools that you were given to live this life. And that also keeps you safe. It keeps you balanced, right? That masculine and feminine balance. Instead of getting off into complete delusion, you're keeping yourself grounded, but also open and dreamy and imaginative and open to that intuition, right? And your discernment also will protect you against. Hello, Lady Gemini. Thank you for being here. So, balance is key. There's a balance to everything. Okay. So make sure that you are grounded, yet you're open and you're listening to your intuition, but you're also checking yourself. You're also being self-aware. Does this sound like something that is really of my intuition, or does this sound like you know, a misleading type of delusion, which can happen. Especially if you're not keeping up on your spiritual hygiene, being protective of your energy. You know, empaths pick up everything like a sponge, and a lot of you, if not all of you, are empathic to a very high degree. So we will absorb the thoughts and feelings of others, not just the emotions, not just the feelings, but the thoughts as well. So we have to be mindful of those. And you don't know what I mean, unless you do know, unless you have the eyes to see, or you're gifted and tuned into um, those energies, that someone else could be influenced, that their thoughts are being, you know, they're not their thoughts, it's thoughts being injected into their field, and then you're picking it up from another person and like, oh, kind of makes sense. Use your discernment, okay? Use your logic, because you were gifted with it for a reason. Ace of Wands, this is a brand new passionate opportunity coming in. Here ringing in my ears just before I go to bed. Ancestor telling me to stay up for some epiphany. Um, a lot of times people, we're going to go into a side quest here. A lot of times people will hear things before bed. That is your clairaudience tuning in, right? It's opening up or trying to express itself. Um, so you'll hear ringing, or you'll hear music or tones, or you might even hear someone whisper your name or say it very loudly. Like, this happens to me all the time, but I'm clairaudient, so I'm used to this kind of thing. But every night never fails, I hear stuff while I'm falling asleep, right? So you're not crazy, and your ancestors aren't trying to keep you awake so that you don't get any sleep that night. It's You'll receive the messages regardless, and when you're in dream time or you're in between, that's where they can reach out and, you know, get the message across easier, because your waking mind is not really, you know, in this space at that time. Hello, Linda. Can't even keep myself awake. My life depended on it. Good. I'm so glad, Anna. Not that like you can't stay awake, but that you're getting the rest that you need, and you're honoring your body, right? Because sleep is when we can, when our body heals itself, or when it grows, when it expands, all of these things. So if you have the need for more sleep than usual, then honor that. And that's you, Anna, honoring your evolution, honoring your body. You're integrating a lot, you're evolving, so that takes physical rest. I'm going to try to get this to show me the comments again on my phone, because it's not. It just has like, all of a sudden it popped up email. I don't want that on there. I don't know what is going on. Okay, whatever. It's not going to work. I don't know. So Ace of Wands, this new passionate beginning, this could be a phase or a chapter of your life that are beginning, where everything starts to move forward for you, where things have been stuck before, or you have, oh, Emperor bottom of the deck in the reverse. But also why I said, oh, is because the Empress actually came out and was sitting next to that deck. And she's also in the reverse. So, you know, where things have been, you haven't been quite open to these intuitive hits telling you when to jump, or what opportunity to create, or, you know, all of those things. If you've been questioning your intuition, questioning your experience right now, your manifestation skills, whatever it may be, you've closed yourself down to being open to receive these things, right? So with that Empress being in the reverse, and also the Emperor being in reverse, whenever one is out of balance, usually the other one is overcompensating, or is also highly underactive as well. Okay. It can go different ways, but whenever you're not open to seeing opportunity or seeing the lesson in something, then you're not going to be open to acting on what you need to act on to, you know, learn and apply the lessons, or see the opportunities and then act on them. It's very pull the wool over my own eyes type of energy. And today, this reading is very much self-focused, whereas Monday it was like very collective energy, you know, cosmically collective energy as well. So I love that this is, you know, there's no accident to anything. So very open, very cosmically connected, or very collective energy. But now we're talking about, let's get back to here. Let's get back to center, because I am God. I am all that is. Everyone else is just a piece of me also playing their role. and not to take that into the narcissistic type of perspective. Okay, you're God and I'm an aspect of you living life as rebel, and so forth. Okay, so we are all one. We are all God expressing ourselves as individuals. So um holding on to regret, guilt, self-judgment, um can very much put us out of touch with our intuition and also our ability to take action, or to be even to be able to correct something that is going wrong. Like, the fight, flight, or freeze. It's the freeze. Okay. So we're not put into these situations by our higher selves. Okay, it's not no one outside of you, it's you working with you. Your higher self that can see everything, the whole perspective and everything, okay, is working with this version of you that's in this. It's like a remote control person, right? um so when there is that kind of disconnect, it's not because you're disconnected, because you're always connected. You're never not connected. Yes, experiencing ourselves and optimizing, learning and growing, and experiencing our unlimited self with limitation, right? Um, so this could be you being out of balance, being kind of walking through a fog lately, or really needing to process a lot of emotion, or it could come out as logical for a lot of you, whether you're male or female. That's the masculine energy. And with both the masculine and feminine energies being out of whack here, this is what I'm getting. And we're not put into this situation by our own selves, by our higher selves, for no reason. It's always for our growth and our own development, right? Our evolution. So if we're made to feel disconnect from our higher selves or from the divine source, okay, we're going to do whatever we need to do to recalibrate, to be able to feel or sense that connection in some way again, right? So that disconnect kind of causes us to step up our game a little bit. Is sometimes we'll get hyperactive in that, hyper vigilant, and try and action it to death, and um, that's that wounded masculine, okay, that emperor in the reverse at play there. Or we're completely sedentary and we just don't do anything because we don't know what to do. We're in that freeze, right? With that divine feminine and or the empress in the reverse. So it causes us to really go within and reconnect here once we've exhausted all other options or just frozen. When you're in freeze mode, that's when you're going to go within. You're going to try to, with your masculine energy, try to seek out what the problem could be so that you can bring some sort of resolution to it, so you can self-protect, and that's that masculine energy. um, that causes the feminine going within, open up, okay, y'all, well, whoever you are has control over me, or has some, some kind of access to my life, or like, what can we do here? What am I missing? That opens you up, yeah, with your masculine energy. But both are out of balance, you see. So that causes this chain reaction to get you to go within, to open up, to receive the guidance, to be able to see what it is that you need to see with the lessons, or whatever your, missteps that you're doing unconsciously, subconsciously. It gets you to go within. And we do have the high priestess showing up here. She is in the upright as well. So again, talking about going within, because nothing is working externally. The 10 of Pentacles showing up in the reverse. You could be experiencing some lack in any area of your life. Everyone's living a different experience. So it could be lack in connection, with friendships, coworkers, love connections. This could be a lack of manifesting, that parking space, like somebody stole your parking space. It could be lack in finances and things like that. So it's going to look different for everyone. But when you're so out of balance with that masculine and feminine energy, it causes you to go within. It causes you to become that high priestess where you're like, okay, cut the bullshit. I'm ready to see whatever it is for what it is. I'm not going to continue to try to action it to death, and I'm not just going to continue to sit here on my laurels and wait for something else to manifest, because in this earth plane we need that, yes, that imaginative manifestation. Everything begins in your mind. You create everything in the quantum, and then you sow it in the current reality, this 3D based matrix, false matrix, with some sort of action, right? You're not going to get a job just sitting at home, not doing anything, not networking, not looking for, job ads or whatever. You're going to have to look for the things that you want and be open, right? That's the feminine energy. You're going to have to be open to these things, but then you're also going to have to take action by applying to those jobs, because they're not going to know you want the job unless you give them your resume and application, right? So, this is an act of you rebalancing, okay? Rebalancing that masculine and feminine energy. Anyone want to be? Oh my gosh, Holly. I would be you. You're cool as shit. I love you. Quit weed for now and nicotine pouches. Maybe that's why I'm sleeping more. Timing for, yeah. Oh yeah. There's so much intense energy right now, Anna. It's not surprising. My kids are home right now. I did not take them to school today, partially because we were at the emergency room late last night with Leighton. His belly wasn't feeling well, anxiety and stress, and the school stuff, fluorescent lighting, and lots of energy. He's physically having some issues, so I took him in last night, and we were there until really late. So I did not, like, I woke up this morning with an intention of like waking the other kids up, but they also said their tummies weren't feeling so great. So I was like, you know what? That's all I need to hear. Go back to bed. I'm going back to bed too. And I slept for 3 more hours. So I feel that I've been so incredibly tired lately, and I've had some way wacky dreams. Okay. Like crazy. I'll tell you guys about it in a little bit, maybe, if we have time, if I remember. So, with our masculine and feminine being kind of wonky, out of sorts, we are being forced to retreat from things that don't really need our energy and focus right now, right? Oh, thank you, Anna. So, taking that diet from people that are overstimulating or that you don't feel good in their presence, right? Cutting them out or just distancing yourself from them, only giving your attention to things that are of top priority right now, and letting other things fall by the wayside while you are able to nourish yourself, be present for yourself. And especially if you were a child raised in a family that was not supportive of you or was neglectful of you, this is really important for you, is to be that for yourself. This will help you to retrain your nervous system to be able to trust, to be able to just exist in any given moment without feeling like you're in danger. Okay. So, cutting out, prioritizing right now, prioritizing more of yourself, how you feel, and how your body, because your safety doesn't have to literally be threatened for you to feel unsafe in your body. Okay. Especially if you come from a long line of trauma. So just cutting out any excess right now and focusing more on nurturing yourself, on making sure that you're comfortable, that your nervous system feels safe. We do have the family issues card right next to that. You could be experiencing some type of family issues. I did that a year ago, so I'm kind of, you know, I'm still working through some residual stuff and some little stuff, but, being excommunicated from the whole family kind of solidified that, and I don't talk to any of them anymore. But you could be experiencing, so, and it doesn't have to be like biological family or relational family, adopted family, whatever. This could also be your work family, because we do have the trouble at work card right here. Anxiety being number one. Okay. Anxiety, whatever is giving you anxiety right now, whatever is making you feel anxiety right now, is what you need to work through your nervous system. You need to reset, recalibrate your nervous system when it comes to that. So that looks like making sure you feel safe in that situation in any way that you need to feel safe, as long as you're not harming yourself or others. And doing nervous system regulation. You can do like, you can tug up on your ears and pull up on both sides, both ears at the same time from the bottom up. You can do EFT tapping. There's like vagus nerve stimulation, different kinds of ways to do that. So finding what works for you and for your physical vessel, because all of us are different. What works for me isn't necessarily going to work for you, and vice versa. So whatever storms that you're navigating, especially the ones that are causing you anxiety or the lack of feeling safe, are what's being brought up for a lot of people right now, if not everyone, because of the huge energetic waves that are hitting our earth plane right now. We've got so much going on, geomagnetic storms, the solar flares, the Schumann's off the charts. We've got 3i Atlas that's bringing in tons of high frequency waves of energy. There's just a lot going on right now. This is the shift, y'all. And it's like it's coming to this climactic point. So everyone is being forced into shadow work, whether they want to do it or not. Their shadows are being triggered and they're having to work through it in order to, live their day-to-day lives. So you're not alone. Everyone is experiencing this to some degree, but it is helping to unburden you from that anxiety, from all of those issues, from the discord. Okay. If you are having discord amongst your family, your friend groups, your coworkers, and anything like that, then you need to remedy the situation by whatever means necessary, even if that means removing yourself, if that means looking for a different job somewhere else, and removing yourself if like HR or whoever won't do something about it to help you to feel safe and comfortable, and not attacked in the situation. Very blessed to have this porch to sit on, protected by my easy up. Yes, ma'am. And it's beautiful there too. Someone wants to learn to walk for me. Have at it. Girl, you're meant to sit on your ass right now and allow yourself to heal. So yeah, this is happening. Yes, it's an immediate burden right now. You're feeling very burdened, but it's happening so that it can unburden you. Okay. So it can remove all of these denser frequencies that you carry around with you in your energetic field. And that way you can actually attract reunion of souls right here. You can attract the true tribe, the true soul family. And it may be that you need to, this is your place of employment and you need to move because nothing else is being done. It could be that you're not meant to be here, but there's another job that has a whole other group of coworkers that are going to feel like soul tribe, baby, that it's going to be like you're going to feel welcome and celebrated there instead of feeling like the enemy here because you're the mirror and nobody wants to own up to their own shit. Since you're tapped in with your powers during this shift, how much worse are things going to get before things improve? You can feel the energy. It's like, yeah, I'm waiting. Like, I know there's something big coming, and a lot of us can feel this with regard to the shift. Yeah, it's going to be ugly. The denser reality is kicking and screaming. The false matrix programming, the false 3D matrix programming is breaking away, and that's going to be loud and it's going to be destructive. And whenever you demolish a building, you get shrapnel, you get all this shit everywhere, and it's not easy cleanup, right? So that's kind of what we're in right now. This is the demolishing of that building, and we're going to have the structure crumbling. We're going to have rubble. We're going to have shrapnel. We're going to have all kinds of shit, right? But with these huge waves of high frequency energy and the ETs that are coming here, it's going to be very much like, I don't want to say instant or immediate relief, but it's going to feel much lighter, much quicker. So we're crowning right now, right? We're birthing this new reality and we're all crowning right now. So it's going to get tighter. It's going to get more confined. It's going to get, kind of crazy looking, but we're being birthed into our own future, right? We're birthing our own future, but also simultaneously being birthed into our future. And you can think of these frequencies that are hitting this plane right now and all the extraterrestrial beings that are assisting with this, and not just extraterrestrial, like terrestrial beings too that are not human, are also assisting. There are many different volunteers that are like the doulas, that are like the midwives, that are helping to support us, bringing these frequency, you know, these high frequency energies in, but also they're guiding the process, not doing it for us, because just like I can't walk your path, you can't walk mine, they can't walk our path, and we can't walk theirs, right? So they're assisting. Um, no, it's not going to be a complete apocalypse like the movies and stuff like that. But yeah, a mask. They're still using that. Oh, sorry, got stuck on the comments. Yeah, we are crowning, and if you, I know that Mike, you haven't experienced this. I haven't either, and I'm female that has birthed 3 different times. You know, 3 different pregnancies. I never got because my body just literally would not. But if you've ever seen or heard even someone experiencing the crowning moment in Western medicated birth, okay, not the natural way that it's supposed to be done, and that's done by indigenous, you know, tribes and peoples all over the place. But it's painful, right? And you can hear it. They'll scream. There's like it's chaos. Um, but that's the old paradigm, that's the old thing that we're moving away from. So yes, there's going to be a bit of that, but there's also going to be this peaceful surrender and this, you know, easy, kind of bridge into the new. So yeah, it's like it's a little bit of both, but it's just how realities, there's not just that finite line, and there's this reality and then there's this reality right here by the line. There's a blending of a little bit of this reality tied into this one, and then on this side of the line there's a little bit of this reality blended with this one. So you know, energy is not just like cut and dry, these like square or rectangular, even, you know, the man-made structure, that is what actually, um, makes up this false 3D paradigm. But I digress. This is for the unburdening of us, but it may feel like really intense burdens up until we're finally, you know, birthing the rest of it. This is the Fool 2.0. This deck has the Fool card and the Fool 2.0. There are 2 Fool cards in this deck. I don't have any other decks, but this one that actually have that going on. So this is like we're leaping into the new beginning. We're not just kind of gracefully stepping off and just trusting that, you know, la la la, there might be something down there to catch us or someone guiding us. No, this is like, I fucking know this is what it is. I know I'm supported. I know I can leap across this motherfucker without any assistance or safety net. Like, it's go time. That's kind of what it's gonna be like once we get to that point. Yeah, everyone is so like anxiously awaiting for the old systems to crumble, and we're all a part of it, you know. Um, but we're rebuilding alongside the crumbling. Look for the rebuilders, right? Look for, like, there are still people that are divided, like left versus right, or skin color versus lack of skin color, or whatever it is that people fight over that separates them, right? Um, Look for the builders, though. There's a lot of us that are like, it's not left versus right. It's not skin color versus lack of skin color. It's not, you know, your culture is different from mine. Okay. It's how can we cohesively come together and support and celebrate one another for our differences like actual human beings do. The only reason why we as humans don't do that right now is because we've been under this false matrix control system. And the regressive reptilians and other species that are contributing to this division are the ones who programmed that trained that. That's not a natural human trait. Um, so sounds like a kitchen reno. It is. We in the kitchen, baby, but we're not cooking good food yet. We can cook some on the temporary burners here, but we got to make sure that we get the demo done and we start building up. So yeah, the division isn't a natural human trait at all. That was injected programming, meant to divide so that they could continue to run the show and make everyone think that it was the ones that were different from them that were, the problem, when all along it was the certain select few that were actually, the marionettes. So Fool 2.0, into your new trajectory, into your new timeline, onto your new path. The devil's showing up in the reverse, becoming unbound, okay, from the ties that bind. And yeah, it is in the reverse, but I'm taking it more so as this is the unbinding. It's not that we have to effort and we have to work and we have to do all this, what has been programmed and taught to us to be able to shift the trajectory of where it is that we're going, individually or collectively. Thank you, Mike. So the unburdening is like, that's us coming out of the cages. We'll show it in the upright. In the upright, yeah, it's caged, but the devil card is a card of Capricorn, of hard work, of dedication, of, words are leaving my mind right now. Anywho, but in the reverse, and with these cards that are surrounding it, I get a very different, I get the unbinding, uncaging, unfettering, right? Of what has burdened us before, of what has caused us issues and anxiety and living as servants to the system. So 3 of Cups right next to that. This is cause for celebration. Yeah, it might be ugly. Yeah, it might be uncomfortable. Hey, Matt. Yeah, it might be all of these things. But as the chaos ensues, the more frequently we can bring ourselves back to center, back to that sacred space, okay, and live in that sacred space, even as all the things are ending and dying all around us, the systems are crumbling, and I'm going to get into a little side quest, but it aligns with the message. The red hats, the MAGA people, the super white supremacists, like racists, the type. We've seen it a lot lately. That's programming for them too. Not all of them, because some of them are the actual regressive, species that are masked up in a human biosuit or what looks like one. But the rest of them, they're regurgitating these lifetimes worth, these generations worth of deep programming. Okay. So just like we talked earlier in the message about, these stuck emotions that, that we may have even worked through mentally, emotionally, but we haven't got them physically out of our bodies. They're in that same energy, a different manifestation of it. So the set of beliefs that they believe are theirs, that they've adopted as theirs, that have been injected into their bloodline for generation upon generation upon generation, those have to hit the air, right? They have to surface, they have to express themselves so that they can be released. Okay. And that's a part of why we're seeing so much ugliness right now. And it's not an excuse, and this is not, condoning that, and it's not excusing that. It's hideous. And we have to be the ones, just like I told you on Monday in the message. Okay. We have to be the ones with the boundary. We have to be the ones that speak up and say, no, you're fucking wrong. XYZ. Look, this is the truth. That's the lie you've been fed. Like, this is not a good look on you. This is not a good look for anybody. And you're not going to treat me that way. You're not going to be, coming up and kidnapping my fucking neighbors because you believe that way. You're not going to do it. It's not okay. And this is how we're not going to operate anymore. You have to stand firm. You have to stand solid in that boundary, and you have to call it out for what the fuck it is. And it's not going to be pretty, and it's not going to be nice, and it's not going to be done in, done up in bows and fucking gift wrap to make it more easy for them to digest, because they need to see the ugliness of it. They need to see the horror of it. And it has to be called out and put in their face and say, look, motherfucker, this is not right. And then they have the choice to change their beliefs or to continue in those. And like we talked about, the 3D matrix and the higher frequency matrix, the splitting of the earth and all of that. It's not going to be a physical split. Okay. This is where we get that. This is how this is manifesting around us. So it, again, not an excuse, not anything condoning anything like that. Enjoy your dinner, Linda. I love you. Thank you. Yeah, definitely check the replay on this one, Matt. So that is love. That is being kind when you're saying, look, you stupid fuck. Okay, you're going about it all wrong. This is evil. This is wrong. This is terrible to inflict on another human being, right? We have to call it out for what it is. And that is an act of love, because we don't want anyone else that we love, because we have love for our common, human beings. We don't want anyone to be impacted by that ugliness, even the person that is projecting that ugliness. We don't want them to be impacted the way that they are by it, because they're expressing that through them, because this is what they've been programmed to do. We want them to be deprogrammed from that. We don't just want to off them because they think that way. It would be much more, much better for the highest good of all if that person would see the error of their ways or the error of their beliefs and get right with themselves, come back into balance and alignment with themselves and love for their fellow human. Yeah, it's that my daddy hates them, that means I do too type of pattern, Matt. Exactly. And it's programming, and it's eons worth of programming. Okay, it's even written in their Bible that you should have slaves and shit. Like, what thousands of years that this has been drilled into the minds of the collective that have been stuck on the incarnation wheel. So it has to be realized for what it is, and it has to be expressed. Okay, so you're seeing some MAGA folks go to these big music festivals, like in Portland, like in Chicago, LA, all of these places, but you're seeing them come to these places and then they're getting wrapped up by the frozen people too, and detained, and they're like, wait, I'm white, I'm MAGA. You thought you were gonna be immune, buddy? Discrimination doesn't discriminate. Okay, I know that seems a little oxymoronic, but this inverted false prison matrix system created it to be so. All right. Hold on, Duncan, I gotta let this cat out or he's just gonna cry until I open the door. Hold on, buddy, I got you. There you go, my guy. So yeah, you're seeing a lot of contradiction. You're seeing a lot of inversion. You're seeing a lot of things coming to light. And it's a difficult time, especially for those of us who are very sensitive to energy, and we can see the manipulation, we can see what's going on, and then we can, it's just crazy. But it's a teaching moment, okay? This is a part in human evolution, okay? So it's not going to be swept under the rug. It is significant, and it's significant so that we can learn from it, so that we can evolve past it, so that we never go back to that. That is what evolution is about. It's transformation. Okay, card number 22, angel number 22, transformation. And this transformation brings us to ascension. Also, right behind that on the bottom of the deck. We're stripping illusions. This actually came out of the deck, stripping away these illusions. And the only way we're going to strip away the illusion is if the illusion is happening right in front of our face, right? And we recognize, oh, this is an illusion. This is not truth. This is not, the way of things. We are collapsing timelines, past, present, and future. We are literally changing the fabric of our existence, past, present, and future. What you do in the now affects everything in the past and in the future. Well, for you guys, past and future. So the illusion has to reveal itself, has to be expressed, so we can say, oh, that doesn't look right. Oh, that's not real. That's not truth. That's not the way that I want to continue living. That's not the world I want to continue living in. So Work through your fears with the new moon in Scorpio, bottom of the deck energy, moving through our fears. We don't become unafraid of the things that make us afraid by running from them. You ever run from something that you were afraid of and then you were just like even more scared as you're running away? Ah! This is scary as shit. Okay. It doesn't become less fearful because you're running away from it. If anything, it becomes more fearful because you're running away from it, like running for your life. So you got to have that fear fuel to get, that fight or flight reflex to kick in and run your ass up out of there, out of danger. Um is that, yes, that was Duncan. Duncan was meowing, and so I had to let him out. So if that's what you heard, but since then, no cats. I have 2 cats in here still. I've got Loki over here and Lyra over there. But they're not meowing right now. So we have to face our fears, right? We have to face these ugly things that might have been boiling underneath the surface or kind of going on behind the scenes where, they've tried to mask and say, oh, there's no, slavery ended a long time ago. There's no white supremacy. There's no racism. Ask a person of color if there's white supremacy and racism and white privilege. You're going to get a different perspective. You're going to get a different story. Okay. So, of course, these things have to surface. We have to face the things that we're ashamed of. We have to face the things that we are afraid of. Okay. Because most of us are very ashamed, especially, like people like me that are very light skinned. Yeah, I have a few different, I'm a Heinz 57. I've got like tons of different cultures in my genetic makeup, okay? But people look at me and I'm a white person, okay? And yes, there have been and still are racist people in, my family. And even if they're not like, the attacking type, they're biased. They'll give favor to someone because they have white skin over someone that doesn't have white skin, and it's absolutely ridiculous, but those things are surfacing. Yeah, exactly, Matt. We're here to raise the vibe. We're the cleanup crew, you guys. We're getting rid of all of this toxic junk, all of these false beliefs, false patterns, the false matrix, the fear matrix. We're here to wrecking ball this shit, okay? But first we have to own up to it. And that's something, I am ashamed of. I don't have any ancestors that were like slave owners or anything like that. But I do still have living family members that are, what is the word? I can't even think of the damn word. All I can think of is bias, but there's a different word. um, so that's something that anyone in their right mind would be ashamed of being connected to in any way, as someone who is of that type of biased perspective. It's ugly. But we can't take that all on ourselves, okay? But we can process through it. We can let it go. We can, you know do whatever we can to make reparations for ourselves and for others. If you volunteered for this wave, Mike, just like all of us, you're ballsy AF. And that's why you came here. Okay? Because you were strong enough, because you had the right, experience to be able to collectively work with other teammates to come here and rock this shit. So yeah, it sucks. It's not comfortable. It's not fun. It's a battle. It's a war. It's but we chose to because we're fucking warriors, right? A win-win outcome is forecast. Full moon in Libra. So you know, process all the things. Let go of what needs to be let go of, reassess, and shift your trajectory if need be. Okay, because a win-win situation is in the cards for you. Hold your vision with the fixed moon here. Eyes on the prize. Remember, focus on your trajectory. Pivot whenever you've got any kind of obstacles or speed bumps or anything that come up that surface for you, because those are showing you what is energetically holding you back from obtaining that ultimate ideal outcome. Your hard work is paying off with the new moon in Capricorn right behind that. So yeah, we're putting in some elbow grease. All right, we're still in this very dense, tangible 3D false matrix. So it takes some effort, some elbow grease. So a new start is coming with the full moon itself. I have not pulled this card for like a really long time. So a new start is coming. We're crowning, right? We're about to birth our future. We are the future, and we're birthing ourselves. You are good enough right behind that, but I'm not going to pull it up because I've got more cards to go through. You and your loved ones are safe with the new moon in Cancer. So if you're feeling like your foundations in any way, shape, or form are being threatened, like a lot of people are at this time, you and your loved ones are safe. That win-win outcome is forecast. You're going to get through it. You're going to come out on an abundant or prosperous side of this. So just continue to realign every time that you get tempted or triggered by something not going your way, or by any kind of lack that is showing up for you. That's showing you where, we need to do some healing work here. We need to integrate that. And then we need to, straighten your back, lift up your chin, and keep moving forward. So you're very close to achieving your goal. Like I said, you're crowning. You only got the shoulders to go now, baby. So eyes on the prize, readjust, reassess as needed, but don't get sucked into old fears, old, patterns of guilt or frustration. Yeah, it's frustrating. Yeah, you're going to have this guilt and stuff surface, but it's not yours to carry anymore. Okay? So you need to let go of that. You need to express it. And if you need to make amends for, whatever reason, then do that. But overall, it's like the worst, we're kind of in it, kind of coming out on the other side of that. And things are going to get a lot better, a lot smoother, and then we're going to have this beautiful divine product of our labor and our frustration and our discomfort and trauma, because we could never get to the point where we're at or where we're moving into without all of the difficulty, without learning all of those lessons, without experiencing the contrast. And those of us who are awakened and understand or have some kind of understanding about how energy works, or quantum physics, or anything like that, there are so many more of us on this planet at this time, on this plane at this time. Okay, there have been throughout history a few figures here and there who got it, who saw it, who tried their best, but now we've got collective energy on our side, and the collective energy is what decides. Those were just the little super spies, the little secret super spies. I don't know if you guys watched Backyardigans, but that's what came into my mind. The little super spy episode. Haley loved that when she was little. So they were sent in as, to prime the energy, to inject a little bit of this, a little bit of that, love and light and awareness here and there. Ace of Cups, bottom of the deck. New fulfilling experiences coming in, a new fulfilling way of existing, or chapter or phase of your life. So just know that everything is going to get better, but sometimes it's got to get worse before it gets better. And that's what we've been experiencing. But we're coming out on the other side. We've already, we're crowning. We're about to birth the head, which is like the worst part of it from what I've been told and what I've heard and read and studied, because I had to know what the actual birthing experience was, because I was prepared the first 2 pregnancies to actually undergo it. So I prepped myself as much as possible, which probably scared my body shitless. And that's why I could not shit out a baby. I don't know, but didn't work for me. But I know all about it, and I can sympathize and empathize and feel people's real pain in my own body. So, I've got as much experience with that as I can without having actually gone through it. Let's say that. But what was, oh, my dream. I was going to tell you guys about my dreams. Girl, hold on. Have you guys been experiencing some crazy off the hook dreams lately? Because I did. I'm gonna tell you about this one because it's a good example. It's a good teaching moment. So this was a few nights ago. I was asleep. I was so tired, but I was sleeping, and in this dream, I was in what looked like a school, which later I saw a TikTok video that a woman was describing that a lot of gate kids experience if they're not experiencing the mall world. They'll experience also a school with long, like darker colored, like barely lit hallways. So I'm at this school, and someone I know and their child, the child was being influenced by something and was like kind of being really ugly and crazy. And I was like, the person was like, I don't know why my child's doing this. And I'm like, they're being influenced. It's okay, hold on. So I started doing my protections and started, doing removal work in my dream. And then I was attacked. Okay. So they were holding me, like I was bent over backwards, bending over backwards for someone else, right? That's what I was doing. I was bent over backwards, but I was still doing the work. And then I was like, oh, I know, I need to go get my sister to come and help me with this. And it wasn't my actual sister that I know as my sister now, it was my daughter Haley. And I had to go down this hall to get to her. And these things were like following me, and so I like picked up the pace to get there quicker, not out of fear, but just to like, let's get this done. And this thing started coming towards me, and it was like a childlike size height, maybe like an 8 or 9 year old child would be, but it had this big round head, and it had the Cheshire cat grin, and it was like in the shadows trying to like go around me. And I'm following it. I'm bent over backwards, and I'm watching it, and I'm like watching it go around like this. And it was going around me trying to stay in the shadows, like I couldn't fucking see it. And I was like, how dare you? And as I'm saying that, I woke up out of the dream. Like I literally got kicked out of my dream because I was doing protections and calling him out. I'm like, you're not gonna scare me. I might not be able to stand up straight, but I'll kick your fucking ass. So yeah, really interesting stuff. But I when I woke up from the dream, like I wasn't scared. I wasn't like, didn't wake up sweating or rushing heart rate or anything like that. I was like, man, I'm still so tired. I'm going back to sleep. So I did more protections and clearing, and then I just went back to sleep. And then I haven't had that issue, since then. But yeah, really, really interesting stuff. And my computer somehow disconnected itself from the internet. So it's not registering any new comments, and my phone's not showing me comments either. So I don't know. We'll see if it's going to reconnect itself. So I can see y'all's comments. But if not, then I'll just have to end it. Come on, man. There we go. I reconnected it. I don't know if it's going to load the comments now, though. All right. Well, if you commented responding to anything about what I said, I can't see it right now, but yeah. Oh, there we go. Yeah, it's the comments. My computer disconnected itself from the Wi-Fi, and my phone, for some reason, it's doing this weird thing where it's not showing me any of the comments. It's just saying email and add show on stream. Like, no, I don't want to do that. But it's not showing me my comments over here on the phone. It did that like a couple of times. Okay. So did you guys get like, you heard the whole dream that I explained though, right? Because the last comment that I see is Matt is a wonderful friend, and I'm so grateful for him, from Anna. And then I explained the dream, and then it went to Holly saying, I see you, and Matt saying, I see your face. So I don't know. Technology, there's so much going on energetically, you know, all the stuff. Well, Anna, I don't see your comment, but that looks really interesting because Matt said wild. But if you said something, it didn't register in the comments on Restream. Let me see if I can go to the tube on my browser. Oh, yeah, like, anyway, the point is, don't be afraid, even in your dreams. Like, you're powerful, okay? And there's a reason why whenever you are doing powerful things in your dream, or you become lucid in your dream, and dream beings recognize that, you get kicked out of your dream, or you get kicked out of your sleep cycle. And I was like so dead ass tired, but I still woke up from that dream. But I was taking this thing on, like I was not wanting out of the dream. You know, I was gonna handle business, but my body's all of a sudden awake, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like I was totally gonna kick some entity ass. So my computer is new, Anna. It's just the Wi-Fi is, I don't know what it. I had the Wi-Fi like the internet company. I had a man come, or well, he was more like a kid in my opinion, but a young man come in and tested my equipment, tested the signals, like tested everything, and even like went on my computer and was checking stuff out, and everything seemed fine. So I it's got to be the energy, whenever I'm generating energy while I'm doing my work, technology goes wonky. So it's just a byproduct of what I do. So but yeah, everything checks out, everything seems to be fine. Like my computer runs really well, but the signal will short out and act crazy. So anywho, I love you guys so much. Don't be afraid of your dreams. You might be having some real crazy dreams. You might be coming up, face to face with some entity ass shit in your dreams too. Take your shungite, your black tourmaline, your black obsidian, whatever you need to. Put it under your pillow if you need the protection, selenite, right? Um, do your protections like before you go to bed and things like that, to arm yourself if you're starting to see that there's some ugly dreams coming up. And don't be afraid of the motherfuckers in your dreams, okay? You are powerful AF, and that's why they're afraid of you, and that's why you get kicked out of dream time whenever you become lucid and cognizant in your dream, okay? So just remember, you have the power, and if you're experiencing some of this ugliness because that's the energy that's permeating on this earth plane at this time, it's going to impact your dreams as well. So don't be afraid of them. Stand up, place your protections. They're most afraid of these. This is your wand, okay? Point at them motherfuckers and be gone with you. Back to source. There you go. So don't be afraid of anything. I love you guys so much. I will see you later.